So heading towards the completion of the skeleton, we shall now start on the finger joints and just maintain good joint translations and rotations. All rotations should be 0, and the orientation of the joints are all nice and consistent within the chain. So onto the fingers. The fingers can be quite difficult, just in terms of trying to see through the geometry and place the finger joint. So let's go into the front view, only because I find that it closely resembles the best approach to the fingers. So let's go to skeleton joint tool and roughly place the fingers where we think they are positioned on the mesh. If I go to perspective, they will be way out. Okay. Before we do anything else, let's have a look at the local rotation axes. So select hierarchy and display the local rotation axes, and as you can see, that the z-axis on the main hierarchy is pointing to the left, and that's the when I bend the fingers down, the fingers will only generally bend in one direction. It's very similar to a hinge joint, so I need to make sure that all the axes are aligned. So again, use the Comet Orient Joint tool, set it to 90 degrees in the X, and that's only because X generally points down the joint. Let's flick it over twice, and that's aligned those two joints, and then always the last one, zero out the joint orientation, the joint orient values. So as you can see now, all the joints are aligned the same way, and the reason that we're doing this is that when I select all the finger joints independently and rotate in the z-axis, they're all consistently rotating in the same way. Okay, and that's something that as an animation control, we're taking advantage of correctly aligned joints. Okay, so that's all good. Select hierarchy, turn off the local rotation axes, and now it's literally about trying to get them into place. So always with the main the parent joint, you can move that where you want to and rotate that as a whole, and it will keep the joints all aligned with the same plane. And if I try to kind of look down the finger and rotate, that's what I'm after, is aligning all the joints so that it will bend in the direction of the finger. Okay, so it's all about trying to place the main knuckle, that first joint where you think that the knuckle is, and then after that, again, all the child joints are translate X, and don't forget to maintain that plane with rotate Z. Okay, so you can literally just move the joints, rotate them into position, and the end one I just generally like just protruding from the geometry. Okay, once you've got that happening, just make sure it's central as much as you can. Okay, looks good. And then once you've aligned everything. I've got rotation values, and I've got rotation values in the Z of the child joint, so just go to freeze transforms. It will align the joint correctly, zero out those rotate values, and literally everything after that has just translate X. Okay, so again, that's a great setup. And let's go to name it, shift and click on the plus, and bind, let's call this index 01 underscore left JNT. I'm just going to do a copy and paste, so that will be index 02, index 03, and let's call this index left end. The end joints are there just as termination joints, so they won't actually be part of the skin file. Okay, so they're the joints, the first index joints named correctly, and in the next video we shall once you've got one finger joint, it's quite straightforward to start duplicating and arranging for the other joints. Okay, so we'll do that in the next video.